What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Chain, which is probably the single most backed crypto project in all the land. The potential here is significant. You'll be able to tell by the title, and this could be a massive moneymaker for everyone involved. So I'll explain why I believe that. Also, I want to look at something coming up this week, which is the CPI data. This is going to have a big impact on the overall crypto market. So it's something that we need to pay attention to, because I'm expecting, if we don't have moves in the market today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, Thursday is going to be a big day in terms of market fluctuations. Before I get into that, if you're new to the channel, you're probably wondering, why the hell should I listen to you, James? Well, guess what? These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. They're the first 26 coins I actually held after the 2018 crash. Had you put in $100 into each coin and done the worst possible thing as an investor and just never sold them, remember the principles are buy low, sell high. And if you'd done the worst thing, never sold them and just sat on them, you would still be in profit. That's profit for $8 grand, from $100 into each one. But if you'd done the right thing and you'd sold them last year when the markets flew up, you'd have been in profit for 123 grand. That's a staggering difference, 115 grand difference. And these used to be the coins I own, and not anymore. If you want to see the coins I own, you can go to copymycrypto.com. And if you go read the site, you can see what it's all about. But I share the coins I own. I share everything I'm buying, everything I'm selling. And if you're new to the space, this takes the work out of it for you, because fundamentally you don't have to do all the thousands of hours of research to become an expert. And if you want to make these kind of gains, the 42x, the 52, the 62, the 677, and then you can go to the site. The site has a load of beginner tutorials as well for how to invest, for how to buy cryptos, how to sell cryptos, because a lot of people have never done it before. So it's step-by-step guides. So go read the site, and if you like it, come join me. Right, Chain. Chain is massive. 1.5 billion market cap. I still believe it can run up to 21 billion or more. I believe this can be a $1 coin, and I'll explain why. So it's a cloud blockchain infrastructure. So what that means is that every institution going can utilize Chain's infrastructure to build better services. They launched something called Chain Core, which is open source blockchain and sequence, and it's Ledger as a service product, so people can utilize that as well. So institutions can literally create and launch and operate a blockchain network by using Chain Core from the ground up. So they've provided the infrastructure for them to build their own blockchain. And the protocol will define how assets are issued, transferred, and controlled on a blockchain network. So the Chain's protocol fundamentally will oversee all of that. But it means any institution can operate a network. That is a big game changer, because fundamentally we know these institutions are not going to build something from the ground up. They'll utilize something that's already in place. But if they've got a simple tool that can allow them to build something from the ground up, they will. Ledger as a service is a massive bonus as well, because it allows all these institutions to track all the balances, transfer balances, simplify their overall administrative costs. Make no mistake about it, administrative costs are massive for these institutions. Enormous. Probably one of the single biggest costs that they actually have are the administrative costs. And if they've got a Ledger as a service, if they're utilizing Sequence, which is Chain's product, for Ledger as a service, they can track everything. It's all stored. It's all just downloadable. Administration fees drop enormously. And obviously, massive institutions can see this, because look who the hell have invested in this. These aren't small players. These are the biggest players in finance. Capital One, Citigroup, Fiserv, NASDAQ, Orange, Visa. Chain also previously partnered and worked to build blockchain networks for Visa, for NASDAQ, for State Street and Citibank. Go Google. I'm not going to do it. Go Google the net worth of those. We are talking hundreds of billions of dollars. These are the biggest backers of Chain because they already understand the value this has. And I think their success is inevitable. It's inevitable because they've got those institutions backing them. So if an institution wants to push with blockchain, they're going to push this as the narrative. The bridge between your business and Web3. Access their leading blockchain solutions. Kraft are involved. Gillette. These are not small companies. These are not small partners. Tiffany. And the sequence is the key. For me, the sequence is the beauty of this because sequence is their ledger. Sequence removes so much of the expenses, of the cost of doing business that these institutions have. Sequence removes that. That's a big, big, big plus. Obviously, Chain Cloud is great. Their NFTs, fine, they're good. Yeah. Their solutions for massive companies, massive institutions, huge. Yeah. And we're not necessarily going to see this is quite a different one because we're probably not going to see this thriving ecosystem idea that's pushed. And I pushed that idea as well because that's important to me. But this isn't about an ecosystem. This is about a service that works and is valuable. What do you guys think, by the way, with backers like that? Does that give you faith that this is going to do well? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're a returning viewer, subscribe to the channel because most of the people that come back to the channel never subscribe. But they keep coming back. So just subscribe and it saves me asking. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to ask. But yeah, so yeah, with a normal blockchain, with a normal crypto project, particularly when you're looking at, a smart contract platform or a layer 1 or a layer 2 or even a guild of games or whatever. When we're looking at a project, we often look at the ecosystem that's in and around it. How many other projects have integrated this Project X into their infrastructure? How many projects have integrated Project X into their protocols, into their software, into their gaming ecosystem? Chain is not that. That's why it's so different from what's around, because it's not about that. It's about being a service that can be utilized by everyone that wants to use it. And so when I keep reading about Chain, I'm not looking for huge, staggering growth in terms of which cryptos are using it. I'm looking at which businesses are coming to use it. And when they're making partnerships with Kraft Sports and Entertainment, when they're making partnerships with Tiffany's, when they're working with Gillette, when they've been backed by the NASDAQ or Visa, it fills me with confidence. What do you guys think? Can this hit $1? Can it hit more? If it is the tool that's used as a service provider for the Citigroup, your massive institutions, how does it not have enormous success? And it's already successful, but how does it not go to $1, to $2, to $3? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification as well, so you know when new content is coming out. Oh, and the other thing, go read copymycrypto.com. If you guys want to make these kind of gains, go read the site. It's where I share the coins I own right now, the coins I'm buying, the coins I'm selling. We're in a bear cycle, so I'm not selling, I'm buying, I'm building my portfolio. I'm looking to add to the positions I've already got and throw in a few new cryptos, ones I believe can do enormous gains. So if you want to make those kind of gains, the 58x, the 62, the 677, then go read this site. Also, we have step-by-step tutorials for anyone that's new to crypto. So if you're brand new, you're not sure how to get started, it's as simple as it can be. But yeah, go read the site. Right, other things. So guys, Thursday we have the September 2022 price index data being released. If the market does not move in the next 3 days, Thursday is going to be a pretty significant day in terms of market moves. And I want to look at general information right now. The forecast for inflation year on year at the moment is 8.1%. And the core inflation is 6.5%. Now, you'll notice forecasters for inflation year on year has dropped. Core inflation, however, has risen. So I want to take a look at basically the scenario that plays out. Now, if core inflation rises from the previous month, bad news, the markets will react negatively. If core inflation drops, the markets will react positively. The key thing that people should be aware of in the overall inflation data is like oil. Now, it takes time for oil to actually react to the markets. Oil right now has dropped month on month for the last 4 months. Since it peaked out in like June 9th or June 8th and has continuously dropped. Now, it happens to be breaking out of the channel today, but in terms of how oil affects CPI data, it usually takes a few months. So I'm expecting that CPI data, overall CPI data, will come down overall. And if that does happen, that is a positive for the overall CPI data because it means the inflation rate year on year should come down. But core inflation is the problem. So this is this tracks changes in what consumers pay for that excludes food and fuel costs. And obviously food and fuel have been rising dramatically over the course of the year. Now, CPI data lately has been a really big trading day. But fundamentally, the key thing I wanted to point out is core inflation. People need to be aware of core inflation, not inflation. Because I would expect inflation, because of the last few months that oil has dropped, I'd expect inflation to drop. But if core inflation rises, it doesn't matter that inflation has dropped, because core inflation is meant to be the more stable stuff, not the volatile energy and food. So if core inflation rises, expect a market decline. And something people need to be aware of, particularly if they're looking at buying, or adding to their positions on a Thursday, and then all of a sudden core inflation data comes out and it's like 6.6%, that would be terrible. So yeah, just something to be aware of, guys, because that's coming Thursday this week, and it's going to be and it will have a big impact on the markets. And if we do see core inflation high, Bitcoin, every crypto drops, but Bitcoin will drop, and do not be surprised if we see new lows for Bitcoin in the coming few weeks. If core inflation is good, and has dropped and is lower than the forecast, then we could very well see Bitcoin experience a 15 to 20% rally over the course of the next couple of weeks. So it will be a very, 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 very interesting week. And that's it from me, guys. Take it easy. Bye-bye.